Now, with the G20 summit just days away, India is making clear the absence of some leaders will not cast a shadow over the talks. A pointed reference to Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian leader Vladimir Putin, both of whom aren't attending the summit. In an interview, India's foreign minister downplayed their decision, suggesting that it is not, quote, unusual.
I don't think it has anything to do with India. I think whatever decision they make, they would know best.
In response to fears of growing geopolitical divisions, he says that the G20 is a collaborative forum, not an arena for power politics. Many analysts have described Mr. Xi's absence as an additional setback to already tense ties between India and China. His no-show is also potentially setting back US-China relations, now that hopes for a meeting between Mr. Xi and the US president have been dashed. Still, Mr. Jaishankar highlighted that expectations from the summit remain high.
I'm confident that every one of the G20 coming to Delhi will understand the responsibility that they bear, will understand today that the other 180 countries of the world are looking to them to set directions and that they cannot afford to fail them.
And for more, Ishan Garg joins us live. He's in New Delhi. Ishan, India's foreign minister, they're downplaying the expected no-shows at this weekend summit. But how are these absences likely to impact the success of the meeting and perhaps more so India's interests as host nation?
Well, many government officials have said that the absence of some of the world leaders, for example, Mr. Putin or Mr. Xi Jinping, may not actually have an impact on the outcome of the summit, because they say that the summit is only the culmination of the work that's gone on for the past 8 to 9 months under India's presidency. And they say that many of the things that have been achieved throughout the past year, they will still stand, they will still be valid, even if China and Russia are not represented by their heads of state. Now, this is a statement that many political experts are saying that this may not be entirely true, because it does present, Mr. Xi's and Mr. Putin's absence does present a fractured picture of the G20 as a grouping itself. And as the precedent, it reflects on India as well, which has been trying to walk a diplomatic tightrope. But there are also some experts who are saying that it may actually be a good thing, because there was the possibility of a diplomatic face-off between the G7 nations and between Russia and China. So their absence may actually make things rather easy for India, at least in terms of perception. But there's also another angle that many experts are looking at. They're saying that a successful G20 could actually mean a successful prime ministerial campaign for Prime Minister next year. So it remains to be seen the perception of this among the domestic population. Many people right now, they have a positive image of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they think that India's presidency of the G20 has been a success so far.
Meantime, Ishan, talk to us about these rumours of India changing its official name to Bharat. That's been making the headlines ahead of this summit. What's the public reaction been to that?
There's been a mixed reaction. A lot of the people simply don't care if the country changes its name, because they say that it's only a matter of semantics. In India, the word Bharat has been used interchangeably with the name India. It totally depends on the language that you speak. Many people who are communicating in English would tend to use the word India. The people who are speaking in vernacular language might probably use the word Bharat. So it's never had a political connotation attached to it. It's only been a matter of the language. And that's why many people in India are saying that this is probably a non-issue for them. But many of the experts have pointed out that there might be deep political connotations attached to it, especially as many right-wing groups in India tend to use the word Bharat to bring back these images, these ideas of a glorious past that India's Hindu rulers and Hindu empires had. Let's take a listen into one of these experts right now.
Changing India's name to Bharat is also a civilizational concept. Bharat has figured in ancient texts, and India, as BJP is putting it, has connotations with the British rule, with the Persian influence, Greek influence, and they want, so this is the card they will play, the nationalistic card, the national pride card, getting rid of the slavish mentality, anything to do with the colonial past.
Getting rid of the colonial mentality has been one of the biggest points that the BJP government has raised for a very long time. And this perhaps is an issue that's going to be raised once again in the 2024 elections next year.
Ishan, thank you for that. Ishan Garg there reporting for us from New Delhi.